Hello friends, today I'd like to tell you something about this one book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R Covey. Actually, this is one of the most famous self-help books. If you are into reading and you love books, then definitely you must have heard this title. And those who have heard this title, many of them must have already read this book. This is one of the most famous self-help books of our times. And I would like to tell you something about this one. Stephen R Covey, as he claims, he has made a lot of research into such subjects like success literature of the last 2 centuries. So what he noticed was the first 150 years, the success literature mainly concentrated on the character of the people, how to be good inside. But for the last around 50 years, there has been a shift. That is, it has shifted to personality, not character. So personality is something outward, dress well, how to shake hands, how to speak, about confidence, such things. This is all deciding success according to the last 50 years literature in this field. But earlier, before that, for around 150 years before that, what he claims is that the success literature was mainly about character. So his aim is to go back to that. So because he feels that is much more better. First we need to be good inside. First need to develop our character, then we can take care of the personality. So he thinks that in today's world, this is very, very important. So that's why he has written this book. And one who has not read this book can have a tendency to think that this is about just 7 habits, just maybe like a list, habit 1, habit 2, like that. And if we can know what these 7 habits are, then it's very easy. Then we can apply those habits. We can be effective, successful people. So this kind of a tendency must be there. Tendency to think this way must be there to a reader who has not read this book yet. But it's not that easy. It's not a shortcut or anything. This book is not a shortcut. Actually, 7 habits. Of course, there are 7 habits, but it doesn't mean that there are 7 chapters and each chapter has each habit. Not like that. Of course, there are 7 habits explained, but he has explained very elaborately, and it is not a straightforward way, because when we discuss one habit, it may be linked to many other habits. It's all, we need to think in an integrated way. All these habits together only can work. We cannot take one habit in isolation and act upon that. We need to develop all the habits. But of course, there is some structure to this book. That is, first 3 habits are about personal victory, which means you need to win yourself. You need to be good yourself. So it's about your character. The next 3 habits are about public victory, like when we interact with others, whether it is our colleagues or family, whoever. So this is the area where the second 3 habits act. Then finally there is one habit that is to integrate all these habits and practice and develop, hone, trim and refine these 6 habits. This is the 7th habit. So this is the general structure of the book. But as I told you, it's not that easy. He has gone very elaborately into each and every habit, and just discussing the habit will not do, because under every habit he has brought in many different principles at work and how it is related to this habit and such things. So there are subtopics, and you need to think in an integrated way with the other habits. And one thing I felt even is that he could have made a book a little shorter. That would have been better, because this is a self-help book, and unlike other books like fiction, novel, etc., the readers of this book may be a different group of people, because the readers of this book may not be necessarily reading because of their love for reading or books. Maybe entrepreneurs, business people, such people who generally maybe not very interested in reading may read this book just to know the secrets, the principles and all. So since such people will not be reading this book for the love of reading, they may not be patient enough to go up to the end of this book. They may leave the book halfway. So I thought it would have been better for such people if the author had shortened a bit, without going into too much elaboration with each and everything. And one special thing about this book is that unlike other self-help books, people who are very family oriented will find this, will be very happy to read this book, because the author himself is a very family oriented person, and every principle he has explained in such a way that if anybody wants to practice this principle, they will never have to abandon or neglect their family. There are a lot of self-help books which try to help us by giving a lot of principles, but when we try to apply this principle, we find it difficult because the family comes in between. The books don't say what to do about that. We need to take care of the family, and we need to take care of our success stories. So this book is helpful for that. And maybe perhaps this is the single major book in the self-help category for the family-oriented people. Even there is one more thing, that he is also a religious person. Even though the religion is not coming throughout the book, but at the end he mentions that it has a big role, or that's the all-encompassing, ultimate theory, God or Supreme Power. That's what he mentions at the end, but that's not, very important, because throughout the book it's not coming, it's only coming at the end. Then this is the general structure of the book, and I don't mean to explain each and every habit of each and every one of the 7 habits. Better to read the book, because just by mentioning these habits won't help either, because as I told you, this is just an excuse. The 7 habits you have to read in very descriptive way. It's given here, and so much about the book, but there are a couple of things which I personally like very much about the book. One is his theory of interdependence, and another thing is about time management. I'll just briefly tell you about these 2 things, because this is my key takeaway from this book. So interdependence, he explains this very, very beautifully. We have 3 stages. We have dependence, we have independence, then there is interdependence. Dependence and independence everybody knows. Interdependence, we don't talk about much, but he has given a lot of importance to that. Even I myself have been always thinking along those lines, so I liked it very much personally. So dependence is like, when you are born, you are fully dependent, fully at the mercy of others, because a child just born is incapable of doing anything. It cannot eat by itself, it cannot cook, it cannot bring food, it cannot walk, it cannot do anything, it cannot talk. So there is a lot of dependence. It's totally dependent on others. But as the child grows up, there comes a stage when he or she can be totally independent. That is, he earns money, he has a home, he has a good partner, he has family, he has career, work, every facility. So at that time he can be independent. He doesn't need anymore to depend on anyone. And it's of course a better stage than dependence. But the author says there is a stage called independence, if you please. That is, it can bring better gains than being independent. By being independent, maybe you gain something, but by interdependence you gain a lot more. That is, you depend on others, and many people, others depend on you, because it's about a mutual give and take. And if we all have that mentality, then we can all gain a lot more than we do now. This is the basic foundation of that principle. So I'm not going to talk more about that one. This is the general idea. I liked it very much. Then another thing I found very attractive in this book is a section about time management. Because when we say time management, many people, even today, many people who take seriously time management, even those people, don't perhaps understand it properly, because they have a set of tasks to accomplish, and they have so much time. They divide the task according to a priority or whatever, and they try to accomplish in the specific given duration of time. But actually we also need to recently I read another article online by an expert. It says it's not time management that is important, it is productivity management. Because we have so much time and we have such tasks, and each task is assigned to particular time. 2 to 3 I'll do this, 3 to 4 I'll do this, like that. But we are at a certain specific mood at certain time, so we need to allot the task or the work according to our productivity mood. Maybe afternoon we don't work so productively with certain thing, then actually we should not put that during that time, because we will do so much of work with so much of time, but we will not bring about good result. This is what I read in an article. Something similar is here. He has made it very clear, like he has divided tasks into 4 quadrants based upon 2 criteria. One is the importance of the task, second is the urgency of the task. Like all our tasks can be divided into 4 classes. One set of tasks is neither important nor urgent. This is, for example, some email, when we check some mails there, so we know it doesn't, it's not relevant to us, so it's not important and it's not urgent. It's not important, so whether urgent or not is irrelevant. Such things are there. Then there are things which are important but not urgent, like these are mostly long-term goal setting things. For example, the growth of our company or the turnover is very important, but it's not very urgent. We cannot bring the turnover today, we don't need to, like one financial year time is there. So at the end, so it's very, very important, one of the most important things, but it's not urgent. We need to build up, and we need to do it in a stretch of time. Then there are things which are urgent but not important. It's like some phone call. We give first priority. When the phone is ringing, we stop all our work and pick it up. Maybe it's not very important, maybe it's not even relevant, but it's urgent. We need to attend the call at that time. Then there are things which are important as well as urgent. So these are like important as well as urgent means it's like some disaster or some fire broke up in your office. So what you do? You have to attend it. It's very important. Otherwise, you will result in a big loss for your company or even human lives. Second thing is it's very urgent also. You cannot wait until tomorrow. You have to do now. You have to stop everything and give first priority. So this is the four categories. So he has named it as quadrants, like x-axis, y-axis, important here and urgent there. So important, urgent, important, not urgent, not important, urgent, not important, not urgent, like that. So in this one, whatever is not important and not urgent, that quadrant you can just ignore. You don't need to bother. And whatever is important and urgent, it's what is important and not urgent, that is good. Our most of the successful part comes there, because long-term goals. Then what is not important but urgent, that also doesn't give much headache. It's urgent, you have to attend a call urgently, but it may not be important. Those also will not affect you much. Only two things finally comes to affect us. There is one, important but not urgent, then important and urgent. That means both of these have common thing as important. Not important, two quadrants we have left out. Whatever is important, you need to attend. But the thing here is, now again when we dig deeper, which is important and not urgent, we can work on it relaxedly. We have time. But what is important and urgent, this will be the thing that will give us the most headache and that will eat our time away. What is important, what is urgent is, for example, I told you a fire breaks out. So it is important and urgent. But our success lies, or our victory lies in converting this quadrant events or happenings to the other quadrant. That is, I'll tell you, the important and not urgent things. So we need to make the important and urgent things into important and not urgent. How? Fire breaks out. So fire should not break out. If fire should not break out, what we need to do? We need to take care of a lot of things. We need to take preventive measures so that fire cannot happen. So we need to train the people about the fire. We need to train the people how to prevent fire. These things, but these can be done, on a daily basis, little by little. We can take time. If we concentrate on such things, then fire will not happen. That means important and urgent things will not happen. So this is how we need to convert this thing to that. So our work will be, successful. We will be relaxed and we can concentrate on what we do. We can bring about good results. Otherwise, we will always be, distracted by these things popping up now and then, which are urgent and important. So our success lies in reducing the number of events which are important and urgent. We need to convert them to important and not urgent, so we get enough time to take care of such things. So that is something like doing good homework to avoid any disaster. So this kind of time management, he has taken a lot of pages and a lot of words in explaining and describing this one. It's very it's very clearly explained. Anyone can understand that very easily, and this is a very beautiful theory. This is what I liked about this book most, as far as the technical things are considered. And as far as the human side is concerned, I like the interdependence theory. So these are the two things I loved about this book personally. Maybe different people have different takeaways from this book. So I think I have just given you a brief idea about what to expect about this book. Anyway, it is not that it's a shortcut or a tablet just by swallowing it will make you effective or anything. No, there's a lot of work to be done after reading this book if we want to be really effective and successful. So thank you for listening and thank you for your time. So if you read this book, I would like to know about your feedback and comments in the comment section. Thank you.